Yo, what up, what up? See, man, Brandon Carter. I'm here with the homie Roosh V. Roosh is an author, best-selling author, and he's a blogger, an entrepreneur. And how would you describe yourself, man?
You know, everyone wants to give me a term. What am I? And I think the easiest way to describe myself is by what I do every day, and what I do every day is write. So I would call myself a writer first.
Yeah, that's how I got familiar with your content. You know, the book Bang. If you ain't read Bang, you gotta go get Bang, or Day Bang, which is another.
I'm sure by the name of the book you can take a guess as to what they are about.
Yeah, do you consider yourself a pickup artist or PUA, or do you like?
You know, everyone calls me that because when you give advice on how to meet women and to date, that's what they call you. But when I look in the mirror, I don't really see that. I just see a guy who wanted a normal sex life. And I did the things. But do I get confidence? Do I get value or worth in myself by calling myself a pickup artist? No, I don't. Yeah.
So you're just a writer, and that's one of the things you write about.
I'm a writer who for a few years had an intense interest in the opposite sex. I wanted to break it down, figure it out, and meet the kind of girls that I liked. But now if you ask me at the age of 36 if I'm still into it knee deep, I can't say I am. You know, when a man has sowed his royal oats, has had his fun, his experiences, he went to the nightclub, did all the things that he wanted to do, and done it enough times, he tends to want to move on to accomplish something else, to do something else.
What are you trying to accomplish now, if you want to get into it?
You know, one thing that's been a consistent pattern for me ever since I got into the game when I was around 22 was helping other men to achieve the same goals as me. That has been the one consistent thing, no matter what I've done, is to help other men. And I think as long as I'm helping men, I'll be fine. But I think the goal of life for some men is to find the truth of the world. What is the truth? How does the world work? How are men like, women like? Just to understand the world. And I think what's gotten me from there to here is just pursuing that, pursuing knowledge and truth. I think some men, they're not interested in that. Maybe they are businessmen, maybe they are entertainers, maybe they're heavy into, say, fitness, such as you. But for me, I've always been into books. I just want to learn. And maybe I don't advise my type of life for everyone else, but most of my life is spent thinking, reading, and writing. And I wouldn't advise every man to think, read, and write all day. But for me, this is what I do. I think it's a natural talent, so I just go with it.
You know, what's interesting, a lot of people have natural talents or are good at stuff, but they can't make money off of it. But you've been able to make a living doing what you do. Can you explain? There's other people who have talents or they're good at something. How can they monetize it in a way where they can do it full time like you?
Let me just make sure it's on. Yeah, it's on. You know, I want to say that I'm really an intelligent businessman. I'm optimizing e-commerce and I do the A/B testing and everything like that. But it was an accident. What happened with me, I had a following first. I built up a following by just writing and sharing ideas, articles. And then from that following, they told me what the next step was. They said, Roosh, you need to write a book. And I was like, might as well if all the guys are telling me. So I wrote the book and I sold it. And I'm just basically giving information that men want. One thing that men can do is ask themselves, what is a problem that I'm facing in life right now? What is bothering me? And if it's bothering you, I guarantee you it's probably bothering a lot of other men too. So then if you can find a way to solve that and maybe present the information in an attractive way through videos or books, you can probably sell it too. But one thing that in the modern age where so much information and entertainment is free, most of the stuff that you give to your audience has to be free. And then from the free articles and videos that you give, if there's a follower of yours that wants to go deeper, maybe he's willing to pay $5 for for a book. So it's win-win in the sense that he wants more information about the topic that you know of, and you also are able to get some income just from giving him the information that he wants.
Right. So like basically build a following based off giving away free stuff, and then maybe like either like put it in like your book Bang. It's probably information they could have got from scouring your stuff, but it's consolidated into one easy to digest form, and that's what you charge for. But all the information is free for the most part.
I mean, if men really looked on the internet hard, they can find free dating tips everywhere. It's not hard to find. But is it packaged in a neat, comprehensive, easy to understand way? And for a lot of guys, they're willing to pay $10 or $15 just to save time. You know, if a man has a job where he's making $20 an hour, it's not going to make a lot of sense for him to spend hours to find information that he can buy in a $10 book.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's not even a lot of guys, what they do, the free information they give is okay, but they hide the really good stuff if you have to be behind a book. And that's one way. But what I do, some of the information I give is free and some is inside a book. But basically, if a man is willing to spend hours to hunt, he doesn't have to pay.
Right.
But some men who don't want to spend all that time just want to get it into a book. So what you're selling is not so much high-octane information, but convenience. So in a way, how can I make the lives of these men easier, and so they don't have to spend a lot of time to find the information that would really help them?
Right. It's like when I was younger, man, I used to scour the internet, Audio Galaxy for the steel music, right? But now I just fucking buy it, you know, like, cause I don't have that kind of time, you know, and I don't want to deal with, you know, I got more money than time now. So I think maybe like someone like me subsidizes the person who gets all his stuff for free, right? Is it something like that? So like, there's always,
you know, why does Apple make millions of dollars selling music that you can download free of charge? Because it's easy. You just click it, it's just $1. And so one thing that you have to make sure is that it's easier to buy your stuff than it is to steal it too.
Yeah.
You know, but you can't stop that. You can't stop. People are going to upload your book. In fact, I would be insulted if no one did upload my book on the internet, because that means it's not worth stealing.
Yeah.
So what I would say is don't worry about that. If people follow you and they value the information that you give, they'll buy your book out of guilt almost. Like, you know, I feel kind of bad. Roosh or Brandon has given me so much that even though the information in his book is something that I already know, I want to support him because I want him to keep putting out this type of work.
Oh, and you're on a tour right now, right? So your live tour, so to some income from that, maybe like you can do like live events or people, other stuff, you know, like if you're giving away enough, right?
It's like a musician, and they sell the albums that you can download off the internet. They don't make a lot off that. The record industry takes a lot of it. But so from what I know, people who sing, they make most of their money when they go on tour. Yeah. So for guys like us, if we're not, say, making a living off of books, well, we have another option. Maybe you can go and train men, and me, I can go on tours, I can offer some kind of coaching. So, but what's more important is to develop your reputation as an expert in something. Yeah. You know, you have to know more than the average guy on this topic. Yeah. And it's up to you whether you want that topic to be broad or narrow. But it has to be something that other men want to learn about, and they feel that it would help improve their lives in some way. So, is there something that you know right now that other men come to you for? That's how you know. If other men are starting to ask you, hey, how do you do this? How do you do that? Then it's probably a sign that you're an expert in something. So once you become an expert in something, that's the beginning where you can probably package it in a way that helps people who follow you and helps you earn a living at it at the same time.
So like, first they should concentrate on skill acquisition, right? Getting good at something, being good enough to fucking teach it. Right.
I mean, I don't know. If you're not good at something, you need to spend the time to get good. Whether it's learning a language, learning a sport. I mean, to become an expert in something takes a lot of time. And I'm sure your viewers already know how much time you spend in fitness. My readers already know how much time I spend in improving my game to be more attractive to women. Nothing comes easy. But I mean, if there's a guy that says, how do I start a business, but I don't really know anything, I mean, I would have to tell him, you have to become an expert at something that other men want to also become an expert on. And once you get that, once you develop the expertise, then the next step in terms of how to make a living off of it is going to come naturally.
So you don't even consider yourself like an entrepreneur. You consider yourself a writer, but you just sell your own. Like, seem like you don't, almost like you don't care about. And I don't mean that in a derogatory way. It just means like it's not important to you. Like, just getting information out is important, and if you can make some money off it, cool. But it's not a big deal to you sometimes.
You know, I know this is going to sound weird, but I think if you give the universe a lot of value, you get it a lot, but you get a lot back. Like, you get what you give. And if you start a business journey thinking, what can I make? What can I get? I don't think you will do well. I think you have to have the sincere motivation to help other people. And the universe will give you that help that you give them, will give it back to you, probably in a different form. I mean, I'm doing, in terms of business, a lot of the sales, marketing, internet marketing gurus tell me, Roosh, you're doing it wrong. Yeah. You're leaving money on the table. You need to optimize your sales copy. You need to offer a higher tier product. I'm like, man, I'm fine. I don't need it. I'm satisfied with the income I get. And if in the future I am in need, maybe I can ask for help by releasing a new product or something like that. But if you enter a business with a greedy mindset, I don't know if you're going to do as well unless you enter it with, you know, I'm ready to help others, I'm ready to give. And if you give someone enough help, they'll want to give you things back without you even asking. They'll want to say, hey, Roosh, I've been following your stuff for a long time. I want to donate $1,000. And this has actually happened.
Really?
It's because I've given them so much value that they feel compelled to give it back. So whenever I go into a business idea or mindset, I'm not thinking how much I should charge, how much I can make, but what can I give that can help? And is there a product that I can give, that I can offer, where a man who wants to give back can pay for it? You know?
Do you feel like that, like, because you're not doing like any like intense marketing or anything sleazy, do you feel like that's why you're fan? Because these guys are, I've seen your fans, man. These guys are, they're hardcore fans. They're not. Do you feel like that? Because sometimes I feel like over advertised. Because I look at your stuff and I feel like, yeah, I know how you can probably add a few back end products, a few upsells. You can probably do some, because I have a marketing background. But do you feel like because you don't, it's just like, hey, whatever. Kind of like, do you feel like maybe it's like, you know, if you like sweating the girl and she kind of get like, what the fuck? Do you feel like it's the same way with customers or fans?
You know, I'm sure you can figure out what I'm doing and then optimize it and package it into a tactic, a sales technique. Do what Roosh does, don't over-optimize. But it's just me, I really don't like to do it. Yeah. I don't like to sell. I really don't like to sell things. I do it because I have to, because I need to eat.
Right.
But if I'm making enough and there's money on the table, I don't care, honestly. You know, so is my ideas going to be elevated to the business schools and the marketing classes? No, it's not, because it doesn't optimize things. But honestly, you have to pick a business idea or tactic that fits who you are. And me, I'm not a guy that likes to really sell and push people. I don't like to push hard. So of course, any business I do is going to be one where take it or leave it. If you don't want to buy my stuff, it's okay. You know, I hope you get the help that you need. But of course, I think my advice is better than everyone else's, you know. Yeah. But only thing is, if you have, a lot of people say you have to have a goal to set in business. I want to make this much a month. I want to move this many widgets every month. I don't do that, man. I don't do that. And if you do that, that's fine. But that's a business style that, for me, is too much.
So you came at it with like not even business first. It was just more like, hey, I'm writing. Like, you're a writer. So you said, I'm just writing, and then the business kind of evolved out of it. haphazardly?
I think it's an accident. It's an accident where I am now, but it came from other men who follow me telling me what to do next. You know, basically they're telling me what to do. They want to help me. They say, write a book about game. I wrote it. Write a book about gaming during the day. I did it. I want to meet women abroad. I wrote that book. You know, I want to hear a talk, a speech. I did that. So I'm just doing what guys tell me to do. I'm not reinventing the wheel. You know, I wish I can say I'm a business mastermind, but I'm not. I'm just doing what other guys tell me and what I like, and it happens to work out.
I think, like, I got this kind of philosophy, man. Like, if your shit is good enough, you don't really have to try hard, right? Like, if you're like do you think, like, say some famous, handsome movie star is out studying game hardcore, or does he just got chicks coming to him? You know, like if you're like, or do you think like Donald Trump, like, for example, I'm saying, like, he's so rich and powerful that he had people coming to him. He does not send out he's not sending hedge hunters out to find it. He's not recruiting. You know, people are coming to him. You think it's because your content is so good that it's just like, hey, you don't have to try. So maybe that's the thing. Like, just be like Tesla. They don't spend any money on marketing. They just have the best car, right? Is it something?
You know, did Donald Trump have to study books on how to be a businessman? So probably not. So I think what you have to ask is, what is your natural ability or skill? You know, should you get an introvert who is a poet to learn how to be an extroverted clown and a businessman? Is that a good idea? No, maybe you should give him advice that allows him to develop the art that he's already kind of good at. So maybe there's something within you that already lend to being a fitness guy, being comfortable in front of a camera. Maybe there's something in me which lent well to writing and thinking and trying to hack into how to make things work when it comes to meeting girls. So I think what we have to do is find a natural skill that makes us naturally an expert.
Right.
You know, and if you're naturally good in front of a camera, this is a day and age where you'll do well, right? Because YouTube is popular, everyone wants that. If you are naturally good at thinking, maybe you're gonna have to struggle a bit more. But I don't know how much we can change our natural skill, and that's something that guys have to experiment with and try out.